Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. And as you know, this is my second video of my channel on my newly purchased Fujifilm X-S10 camera. First of all, sorry for making this video after such a long time, because I was busy with my some personal commitments from the past 2 months. And as I said in my last video, that I will be posting a new video regarding basic parts and interface of menu system of Fuji menu system, so that other photographers and videographers can decide whether they should buy this camera or not. So let me start with just the basic parts of the camera, physical buttons and all that. So this is the battery which is provided by the Fujifilm. And one more thing, in my last video I forgot to mention one important thing, that Fujifilm does not provide any extra battery charger along with this camera. So that means you need to charge this battery using inbuilt USB-C port. So this is the USB-C port. So you can just straight away connect your USB-C charger into that. And I have used my Samsung mobile charger, and even I have tested the charging of this camera using a power bank. So it works. So let's start. This is the basic parts. First one is this is the on off button. This is the on off switch, and this is the shutter release button, and this is the movie recording button, and this is quick menu, which you can also call it as a Q menu, and this is the ISO, rear command dial, this one, and this is the front command dial. This is the mode button. So right now the camera is in aperture priority mode. So this is shutter priority mode, program, auto, and so these C1, C2, C3, C4 are the custom modes which you can set. This is the hot shoe, and this is the function button which is customizable, and this is the flash lever. This is the flash, and then this is a burst mode button, then playback button, then this is the diopter setting, and this one is proximity sensor. This proximity sensor, I mean, once if you want to use the EVF, this is the EVF. Once you want to use the EVF during sunny days, and where the ambient light is too much, so this proximity sensor will sense your face and it will switch off the screen automatically, right? This is also customizable function button, and this is AEL. This is the exposure lock button. This is the back button autofocus, and this is the function joystick, LED indicator for the battery or processing, right? This is the main menu button. This is the display and back button, and in the front you can see this one. This is the pre-focus illuminator, and it is also used in self timer mode, right? And these small holes which you can see on both the sides, these are the mics which is used to record the stereo sound. And this is lens release button. So this is the 26 megapixel BSI sensor, and you can see this camera has inbuilt 5-axis image stabilization. So you can see that the sensor is moving. Sensor is vibrating if I move the camera. So this is the image stabilization inbuilt. And this is of course your LCD, vari-angle LCD, and to this side we have one latch. This is the USB charger. This is the D type micro HDMI connector, and this is the 3.5 mm jack used to connect your mic and remote release. And of course, Fujifilm provides USB-C to 3.5 converter as well, so you can connect your headphones for monitoring. This is useful for vloggers. And below, this is the tripod mount, and this is the battery latch. So this is the basic part of the camera. So let's start with the basic interface. So let's switch on the camera. So first, when you switch on the camera, so this is the main display you get on your LCD screen. So let me start with the left hand side first. So this is the exposure meter, which shows negative and positive exposure depending upon your exposure triangle settings. Like your first setting is ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, right? On the top, this is the movie mode selected. Right now 4K and 25 FPS is selected, and this is the time remaining to record the movie. So this time depends upon your available capacity of your SD card. Then next is the next number is the number of frames available to take the photos. So that also depends upon the available memory in your memory card. Then next to that is, if you can see that there's a small icon L and F. L is your image size. It defines the image size, and F means fine. Fine means your image quality. Then on the right side, you see this is what this is the interface for options for touch control. So right now it is off. So once I touch it, so it changes to short. Short means if I touch on the LCD screen, it will focus on the object, the area on which I have touched, and will take the shot. So if I change it, it will changes next to autofocus. So that means if I just touch the LCD, it will automatically focuses the object but will not take the shot. And the next is area, so it will focus the area. So right now we'll keep it off. And below that, the next setting is for your Fujifilm film simulations. Right now standard is selected, so these are the film simulations different, like Provia, Velvia, Astia. So I'll show you in a later on. So these film simulations can be changed from this jog dial. Then next is your dynamic range setting. Then this is your histogram, battery indicator, ISO sensitivity, and this scale which you can see. This is the scale which shows focus range according to your lens. And then next to ISO sensitivity, this one is your exposure compensation setting, plus and negative. And this is aperture setting. This is the shutter speed. This one is photometry. Then the this one camera mode which you have selected. So right now it is selected on C4, so I just change it to aperture priority or manual. I generally use manual or aperture priority. So you can see it has changes to A. And this is the autofocus mode. Right now it is selected autofocus short. So this is the main basic display. Same display you can see on your EVF as well. So let me quickly show you the movie interface. So this is the movie interface. So this shows autofocus settings. So right now it is continuous autofocus, and then photometry, of course, and the movie settings. These are your mic levels. Then again, similar settings. And this one is, if you see, that is the movie optimized control. So here you can change the different settings like wind filter, your headphones volume, your film simulation, and mic. Like this is the image stabilization mode, like boosted or what. So you so this is very handy to change the settings, movie settings quickly. So this is the basic interface of the movie. And if you want to see, this is the Q menu. Q menu is different for photography as well as for movie. So right now the Q menu which you are seeing is for the movie settings. You can see, I mean, you can customize this Q menu according to your preferences. I mean, the what options you want to keep and what options you do not want to keep. So this is for movie menu. And if I change it to aperture priority and click on Q, so this is the shooting menu. So these are the options for photography. So guys, let me show you quickly the EVF. So if I cover proximity sensor, so this is the EVF display. So as you can see that EVF also shows all the display options as display screen of the camera, right? So let us start with the main menu. So if I click on the main menu button, and this is the first category which I will show you. This is the image quality setting. So in image quality setting, our first option is the image size, in which you can select the different image sizes along with their aspect ratios. And to the right of them, it shows the number of frames you can take with that selected image size. And this is the image quality. So right now I have selected fine plus raw. So these are the different image quality settings which is available. Then this is the raw recording. Three types of raw recordings are available: uncompressed, lossless compressed, and compressed. So I'll prefer lossless compressed. Then film simulations. These are the different film simulations. Standard one is Provia. Then second is Vivid. This is my favorite. Vivid and Classic Chrome is my favorite. So Astia, Classic Chrome, Pro Neck High, Pro Neck Standards, Classic Neck, Eterna Bleach Bypass, Acros, Monochrome, Sepia. So as of now we'll select standard. Then this is the monochromatic color. If you have selected the monochrome film simulation, so you can change your monochromatic settings. This one, I mean, you can make I mean how much warmer or cooler you want your image to be. So let me select standard. Then this is about grain effect, the color chrome effect actually. So color chrome effect means it increases the range of tones for highly saturated available colors like reds, greens, and yellows, right? So the next is color chrome FX blue. This increases the range of tones for blues in your image. The next is white balance settings. So these are the different white balance settings: auto white priority, then ambience priority. So others are customs and predefined. Then this is the dynamic range setting. These are the different dynamic range options. So I'll select auto, and this is the D range priority. The difference between dynamic range and D range priority is if your D range priority setting is set to off, so along with your dynamic range you can select your tone curve. Tone curve means you can set your highlights and shadows in the scene. But if you want the camera to control D range highlights and shadows automatically, so you can keep D range priority on auto. So tone curve will be decided by the camera according to the scene, right? So the next is color options. Your sharpness, I mean the color, you can increase and decrease the saturation, then you can increase and decrease the sharpness. Then high ISO noise reduction in case you are using very high ISOs. Then this is the clarity of the image. Long exposure noise reduction. So next is long exposure noise reduction and lens modulation optimizer. So what lens modulation optimizer do is this reduces the diffraction caused by the small apertures. So if you have selected a small aperture like shooting a landscape scenes like f11, f12, so with this option you can reduce the diffraction of the light. With this next option, this is the color space. You can select the color space like sRGB or Adobe RGB. Then pixel mapping. If you notice any bright spots in your pictures, so you can use this option. Then you can select and edit and save your custom settings like I have done. Like if you see this is the my settings, so I have selected these options as my custom settings, which I can I don't need to drive through all the camera options and all that. So I will just go to my options and then select my custom settings, which I need to change frequently. So this was the image quality settings. So next will be autofocus settings. So first option is your focus area. You can choose your focus area. So right now it is wide, so this is zone, then a single point. So total number of points are 425. This is the maximum number of focal points. Then focus mode, continuous autofocus, manual autofocus and single autofocus. Autofocus mode, which mode you want to use, that single point, zone or wide tracking. Then autofocus continuous custom settings. So these are the different autofocus continuous custom settings are available. So 5 are predefined and 6th one you can customize. So first one is multi-purpose, then second is continue to track objects, ignore obstacles, and third one is for accelerating and deaccelerating subjects. Fourth one is for suddenly appearing subjects, and fifth one is for erratically moving and acceleration and deacceleration subjects. Sixth one, it is the custom setting. In custom setting, what you can change is tracking sensitivity of the camera, and speed tracking sensitivity of the camera. So of course you can just play with the camera and decide which options you want to go. And this is store autofocus mode by orientation. So if you are shooting in landscape mode or portrait orientation, so autofocus, you can keep the separate settings for both the orientations. Then so autofocus point display, so if you keep it on so you can see the boxes. Like let me just, this works in case of zone and wide tracking. So you can see see the number of small boxes. So this option, of course, you can switch it on or off depending upon your convenience. So I'll prefer it off. And then number of focus points you can select. So number of focus point depends upon your autofocus mode. So if I select single point, so this is 425 and this is 117. And of course, but if you are using wide tracking, all the points will be used. So what does pre-autofocus do is, if it is on, then camera will continue to adjust focus even when the shutter button is not pressed halfway, right? So generally once you press the shutter button halfway, so camera starts focusing. So if that is on, so it will continues to adjust focus. Of course it will uh, drain of the battery more, so just you can keep it off or on. I'll prefer it off. Then autofocus illuminator, earlier in this video I showed you one lamp on the front side of the camera, so you can just keep it on and off. Phase and eye detection, so these are the different options. Eye autofocus, right eye priority, left eye priority. So eye off means only it will focus on face, it will only detect face. And if you have selected this option, face detection or eye detection, then you cannot use or adjust photometry options. So but I personally prefer photometry, so I keep it off. And this is autofocus plus manual focus. Even with autofocus you can manually adjust the focus using fine tune the focus using your lens focus ring. Then manual focus assist, this is the digital micro prism, digital split image, and this is the standard. I generally use focus peak highlights, so I keep it red. So let me just show you what are these different things, different options do. So I have just connected a lens. This is the normal kit lens, which is 15 to 45 mm. So let me show you the standard manual focus assist. So if I select standard, then of course this is the standard one, nothing will be shown, no assist. So in another option, this is the digital split image, color or monochrome. So you can see on the display there's a separate box which pops out. And if I use digital micro prism, so this is the digital micro prism. And if I keep on focus peaking, so you can see the red highlights. And your next option is focus check. So if I keep this option on, it will automatically zoom in. It will show you a separate window for the like this one. I have started a focus, manual focusing, so it is showing me a zoomed image. And next option is interlock spot autofocus and focus area. So you can interlock the your spot exposure settings and autofocus. So next is instant autofocus setting. So instant autofocus setting, it defines your functionality of your back button autofocus. So like once you have selected this works in manual focus mode only. If I select autofocus single shot, and so this has locked the focus in a single shot, right? So it will not change the focus. So if I change it to so it will keep on continuously focusing to the area. So next is release focus priority. So once your shutter button is released, so it depends upon on which thing you want to focus more. Is it the focus or your release timing? So I'll just prefer it focus. This is the autofocus range limiter. You can limit the range. Then touchscreen mode, which you can change on the camera display, LCD display as well. Okay, so these are the focus settings. So the next one is shooting settings. So first is scene position. Right now I cannot select the scene position because the camera mode selected is aperture priority. So let me just change it to scene mode. So right now I have selected scene mode. So here you can choose the different scenes like portrait enhancer, landscape, sports, night tripod, fireworks, sunset, snow, beach, underwater, party, flower, text. So these are the different scenes. And the next option is the filters. So if I just change the camera mode to filter, this is the filter mode. So here you can see the different filters: toy camera, miniature, pop color. So let me just show you with the subject. Yeah, this is the toy camera, then miniature, pop color, high key, low key, dynamic tone, soft focus, partial color red, then partial color orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So these are the different filters. Please note that the filters and film simulations are a bit different. These are not actually same. So next is sports finder mode. I generally keep it off. If you keep this option on, then it displays a small rectangle on the display. So right now it is on continuous autofocus camera. And please note that sports finder mode, you cannot use it with the manual shutter plus electronic shutter. So only mechanical shutter. And then this is the burst mode, works with only electronic shutter. Then self timer. Then you can save the settings for your self timer lamp, which is same as pre-autofocus illuminator. Interval timer shooting, you can change this interval and times. Then interval timer shooting exposure smoothing. Exposure bracket setting, you can change it. How much frames, and then exposure compensation. Then film simulation bracket, then focus bracket settings, photometry different, photometry is option, multi, center weighted, spot, average. Then shutter type, mechanical shutter, electronic shutter, and then mechanical plus electronic. So if you have selected mechanical shutter, the highest you can go is 1/4000, and with electronic shutter the highest you can go is 1/32,000, and with both of them selected, highest is 1/32,000. Till 1/4000 mechanical shutter will work. After that electronic shutter will work. This is the flicker reduction, image stabilization mode. This is the different image stabilization modes are available. I generally use continuous plus motion. Then next is ISO settings. Lowest is 80, then maximum is 5/1200, and there are 3 auto options which you can customize, like auto 1 you can use in the default setting, and then maximum and minimum shutter speed you can also define. Similarly for auto 2 and auto 3. So these were the shooting settings. And then we'll go to flash settings. These are the different flash settings available. These are the different flash like TTL mode, zoom, in case you have selected a separate flash. Then red eye removal. Then you can choose the TTL lock mode. Then LED light setting, commander settings, and CH settings, which only available if you have selected a Fujifilm flash accessory, hot shoe accessory. So next is movie settings. First is movie mode. So these are the different movie options. Yeah. So 4K, Full HD. You can use aspect ratio change. Then frame rates 29, cinematic 25, 24, 23, 59, 25 again, of course. And your bits. So DCI is available, 4K is available, Full HD. So if you have selected Full HD, you can select 60 FPS also. And with 4K, maximum you can go to 30. And with the DCI, also 30. Then file format for that movie. Then Full HD high speed recording, image stabilization mode during recording. This is IBIS plus optical image stabilization, IBIS plus optical, of course with digital image stabilization as well. Image stabilization boost mode, on and off. Then audio setting, internal mic gain, external mic level adjustment, mic jack settings, whether to line or mic level limiter, wind filter, low cut filter, headphone volume. Then of course you can change the setting for 3.5mm jack available. You can set it to whether you're using with mic or remote. And this is the basic setup settings, like user settings. You can format your SD card, set your date and time difference for your different time zones. Then my menu settings for your videography. Then sensor cleaning. Of course you can keep the sensor cleaning whenever your camera is switched on or off. So I just generally keep it on switched on. Sound and flash. Then reset the camera. Sound setup. These are the different sounds, beeps, shutter volume. You can keep the shutter volume off as well, and you set the different sounds of the shutter. Then screen setup, view mode settings. You can just change the settings for your proximity sensor. I use eye sensor only. Then during playback, you can use playback. Whether you can decide whether to use a display LCD or EVF for your playback. Then EVF brightness, EVF color adjustment, LCD brightness, LCD color adjustment, image display, how much you want, how long you want to display the image after it has been taken. Then auto rotate displays, preview exposure during manual mode, natural live view, F-log view assist mode, framing guidelines, auto rotate. Then focus scale units, Aperture units for cinema lenses, T number or f number. Generally cinema lenses comes with T number. So display custom settings. So these are the custom settings you can display. You can set on your LCD display. Large indicators for the LCD and large indicators for the EVF. Large indicators display settings. So you can change these settings. Information contrast. So you can set the contrast for the menu. Then Q menu background. This is for Q menu background for photography, Q menu background for videography. Then focus lever settings. Focus lever setting is, I've shown you in this video the joystick. So that is, you can customize the settings. Then these are the number of slots for the Q menu. Then here you can customize the different customizable buttons like recording, ISO, Q menu. This is for function button. Then touch flick. Then shutter autofocus, shutter exposure settings, shoot without lens. This is for manual lenses. Shoot without card. Then focus ring, either you can select it to clockwise or counterclockwise. Focus ring operation, linear or non-linear. Then exposure and autofocus lock. So this is the setting for your back button autofocus and back button exposure lock. With this setting, that means your exposure and focus will be on as long as you are pressing that button. With this setting, once you just press the button, it will work as a on off switch. Same thing with the white balance lock also. Then touch screen settings, you can just keep it on and off. Then double tap settings, touch functions on. Then touch screen settings on, and EVF touch screen area settings. So once you are using EVF, how much area on the LCD you want to use for touch, so you can decide that. And then these are the lock settings, function selection. You can just lock the functions. Then auto power management, auto power off. Then performance, right now I selected normal. Then boost settings. Boost settings, once you have selected the boost settings, so you can select the priority for your camera, like low light priority, resolution priority, frame rate priority. So I have selected a low light. Then these are the save data settings: frame number, continuous or renew, save original image, edit file name, then you can select the folder. Then Bluetooth settings, you can pair the camera with your mobile phone or tablets. Then so right now it is paired with my tablet. Then you can delete pairing registration, Bluetooth on and off. Auto image transfer, so automatically the camera will transfer the images to your phone and tablets. Smartphone sync settings, for time and location. Then network settings, if your camera is connected through your internal camera, internal network. PC autosave settings. This is the Fuji Instax printer settings. You can take Instax print then connection mode, which is a USB card you can use, then USB, this is for the PC connection. These are the different options. And then USB power supply settings, so you want to supply the power during once your camera is connected to your PC. Then these are the general settings, name of the camera you can select, then resize the image for smartphone. Of course, once the camera transfers the images to your phone, do you want them to resize or not? Geotagging, location info, then wireless communication and pairing transfer order. These are the information of the camera. So that's it. This is the basic main menu of the Fujifilm X-S10. So now you know, I mean, what other options are available, what all the options available in the camera, so that you can decide so whether to go for this or not. So generally, like Fuji X-S10, then X-T3, X-T4, the menu system is almost same. And for the other lower lineup of the Fujifilm cameras like X-T100, X-T200, menu buttons are little bit different as they are more touch friendly. So thank you guys coming back to my channel, and please, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And of course, in case you have missed my earlier video, my first video of my channel, which was the unboxing of this same camera, I've given a link in the description. Please follow the link so that you can see so that you can watch the video. So thanks again for the coming. Bye bye.